Among these distant and mysterious exoplanets, some environments can only be described as real-life purgatory. Today, we're going to take a deep dive into 6 truly hell-grade exoplanets. They are either scorched by extreme heat or frozen in darkness, appearing as if they were ripped from a sci-fi nightmare. Some drift through the universe in total solitude, while others have even played tricks on the eyes of astronomers. Are you ready to embark on an interstellar journey, full of wonder and existential dread? First up on our list is a planet with a very peculiar type of rain, Coret 7b. Just a heads up, this rain isn't made of water, so, unless you have a titanium alloy umbrella, you definitely don't want to be caught in this downpour. Coret 7b was one of the first rocky exoplanet discovered by humanity. It's about 1.7 times the size of Earth, and about 5 times its mass. It orbits a star in the constellation Monoceros, about 490 light-years away from us. When scientists first discovered it in 2009, they speculated it was a super-Earth, a rocky planet similar to our own. However, don't let its rocky nature fool you. This world is absolutely uninhabitable for life. If you were lucky enough to witness a sunrise on this planet, well, congratulations, that would be the very last thing you ever see. Why do I say that? The reason is that Coret 7b is far too close to its host star. The distance to its mother star is only about 1/60th of the distance from Earth to the Sun. This means, in the sky of this planet, its sun appears 360 times larger than the sun in our sky. When the star rises above the horizon in the morning, its radiance would incinerate you in an instant. Imagine a place where sunrise is like a volcanic eruption of fire. The blinding starlight ignites the atmosphere immediately, causing temperatures to skyrocket to hellish levels. During the day, the surface temperature on the day side hits roughly 260 C. This temperature is high enough to melt almost any rock. Once the rock melts, it further evaporates, turning into high-temperature rock vapor that rises into the sky. Even more incredibly, when this scorching rock vapor climbs to high altitudes and meets relatively cooler air currents, it condenses. Just as water vapor forms raindrops, Coret 7b doesn't condense into water droplets, but into tiny rock particles. As a result, this planet puts on a terrifying spectacle. It rains rocks from the sky. Imagine sand and pebbles showering down from the heavens. This is a doomsday scenario straight out of a sci-fi movie. Yet on Coret 7b, this is just the daily weather forecast. Furthermore, scientific models suggest the surface of Coret 7b might be covered in lava, ocean's vast expanses of glowing molten magma, like a sea of fire covering the daylight side of the planet. Worse still, this planet is also tidally locked. It always faces its star with the same side, just as the moon always faces the Earth. This means Coret 7b has a permanent day side, scorched by the star, and a permanent night side turned away from it. The result is a purgatory of fire and brimstone on one side, and a freezing icebox on the other. Scientists estimate that, on the dark side of the eternal night, temperatures could drop as low as 235 C. It's unimaginably cold, forming an extreme contrast with the molten heat of the day side. Astronomers speculate that Coret 7b might have had a very unfortunate past. It might have started as a Jovian-like planet, a gas giant. Over eons, it gradually spiraled closer to its host star. Violent stellar winds and high temperatures stripped away its thick atmosphere and gaseous envelope, leaving behind only the exposed rocky core we see today. This explains why Coret 7b is now so scorching and desolate. No matter how you look at it, it truly lives up to its reputation as a lava purgatory planet. This opening might be a bit scary, but don't run away yet. There are even more bone-chilling. Next up, we have a candidate whose scene isn't quite as filled with flying lava, but it's definitely the type of place you wouldn't want to go near in a million years. It is J1407b, a bizarre planet that astronomers both love and hate. Why love? Because it possesses a structure that can be called a magnificent cosmic wonder. And the hate? Naturally, it's because its state of existence is so eerie that it once left researchers completely baffled. Imagine Saturn's elegant rings, then exaggerate them by 200 times. J1407b possesses such an exaggerated, absurd planetary ring system. Saturn only has its famous 3 main rings. But J1407b is surrounded by at least 30 concentric rings. These rings are composed of countless rocks and ice, layered one after another around the planet. It's estimated that the total diameter of its ring system exceeds 180 million kilometers. What does that mean? It's equivalent to 1.2 times the distance from the Earth to the Sun. In other words, if we place J1407b's rings into our solar system, their span would be nearly 20% larger than Earth's orbit around the Sun. By comparison, the diameter of Saturn's largest ring is a mere couple 100,000 kilometers. It's simply no contest. How did such a massive ring system form? Generally speaking, a ring system of this scale only appears when a planet's moons suffer massive destruction. Scientists speculate either J1407b once had several giant moons that were torn to pieces one by powerful gravitational forces, spreading out into rings, or this so-called planet isn't actually a planet by our usual definition, but more like a failed star. Some views suggest that J1407b might be a brown dwarf, embryo or a sub-brown dwarf that failed to ignite. Its mass may reach a dozen or even dozens of times that of Jupiter, almost enough to qualify as a small star. The scientific community has yet to reach a final verdict on J1407b's true identity. Some studies support the idea that it is a particularly massive Jovian planet, as it still orbits a star. But more radical hypotheses suggest it might not even orbit that star at all, but is instead a free-floating planet that just happened to pass through our line of sight in 2007. Whatever the truth may be, one thing is certain: that stunning ring system truly exists, and its beauty is absolutely breathtaking. Speaking of its discovery, the process was full of twists and turns. Astronomers discovered it precisely by observing the existence of J1407b's ring system. In 2007, astronomers noticed that the brightness of the star designated J1407 showed a series of complex light fluctuations over a period of 2 months, as if something was passing in front of it. Thus, the silhouette of J1407b gradually came to light. Further research showed that the J1407b ring system contains at least 30 major ring zones. Each ring is tens of millions of kilometers wide. In one of the most remarkable rings, there is a clearly defined, massive gap. The position of this gap is about 0.4 AU from the planet, roughly 60 million kilometers away. Such a large ring gap points to a startling event. A moon with a mass somewhere between Mars and Earth may have formed here, or perhaps an impact or gravitational ejection occurred, clearing out the void. This is also why scientists believe J1407b once possessed moons and suffered a cataclysm. Let's try to imagine the view from J1407b, or one of its remaining moons. Above you, a vast expanse of rings would stretch across the entire sky, many times larger than a full moon. The sheer scale and beauty would leave you speechless. Next, let's shift our gaze to a place a bit closer to our sun, about 75 light years away. There is a poor, terrifying fellow, drifting alone in the pitch-black void. It has the tongue-twisting name PSO J318.5-22. Scientists simply call it a rogue planet. That's right, this planet has no host star to orbit. It is an abandoned orphan, drifting endlessly through the cosmic darkness. PSO J318.5-22 belongs to a special class of rogue, or free-floating planets. Some also call them orphan planets, or nomad planets. According to theory, these planets are either substellar objects that failed to ignite from birth and drifted away from stars, or they were violently ejected from their original orbits by their parent stars during a gravitational brawl. Whichever the case, it no longer belongs to any stellar system and must wander lonely through the sea of stars until the day it is captured by the gravity of another star, or simply drifts forever. On the surface, the lack of starlight makes these planets seem even more dark and mysterious. But for astronomical observation, It's actually a good thing, because there is no blinding and glaring star nearby to steal the show. Scientists were able to directly observe the faint infrared light emitted by PSO J318.5-22 itself, using the Pan-STARRS telescope in Hawaii, and facilities like the European Southern Observatory in Chile. Astronomers took hundreds of infrared photos of it, finally uncovering some secrets of this dark wanderer. First, its size and mass are quite considerable, with an estimated mass about 8 times that of Jupiter. Although there is no star to provide light or heat, PSO J318.5-22 is still slowly contracting and releasing the heat from its formation. Therefore, it is not a frozen, dead world, but instead glows with a dim reddish light. By observing periodic changes in its brightness, scientists discovered that the planet rotates at an amazing speed, completing one rotation about every 8 hours, much shorter than a day on Earth. Such rapid rotation leaves its atmosphere filled with violent turbulence. The atmosphere of PSO J318.5-22 is full of multi-layered thick and thin clouds. Their composition is quite unusual, primarily hot dust and droplets of molten iron. Yes, you heard that right, in the cloud layers of this planet. It might be raining iron. According to scientific calculations, temperatures inside the clouds exceed 800 degrees Celsius. Iron and other metals evaporate at high altitudes, condense when they hit cooler air, and form eerie iron rain. Worse yet, the weather here is temperamental, frequently whipping up supersonic winds that sweep hot dust clouds and iron rain across the entire sky. To vividly describe the weather on PSO J318.5-22, the research team even released an interstellar weather forecast. Expect cloudy skies today, scorching temperatures, and very unsuitable conditions for going out. The entire planet will experience intense dust storms at several times the speed of sound, and may see showers of scorching iron rain. Don't forget to wear your high temperature and debris-proof spacesuit. Behind this humorous forecast is a true storm-racked purgatory. PSO J318.5-22 is very young, with an estimated age of only about 20 million years, making it an infant planet in the universe. By comparison, Earth is 4.5 billion years old. It is considered to be a member of the Beta Pictoris moving group, a group of young stars moving together. A planet so young and free of stellar constraints has sparked great interest among scientists regarding its origins. There are 2 main theories about its birth. First, it may have formed like a star, directly collapsing from interstellar gas, simply lacking the mass to trigger nuclear fusion. Alternatively, it may have been born in a planetary system like any other, but was cast out into the dark after losing a gravitational tug-of-war. But regardless of how its tragic journey began, it is now a true king of the eternal night. After exploring these 3 nightmare worlds, do you feel a chill down your spine? Don't worry, our journey is only halfway done. In the next part, we will encounter 3 more hellish exoplanets. They will challenge your imagination even further.